With a few free days back in California this winter, I wanted to share a bit of my childhood home. Setting my sight on a favorite plant while growing up, I headed up to the mountains for a day to see what stories could be found. In the coastal mountains of California, plants and animals have adapted to thrive. Due to dry summers, short, often inadequate rainfalls, and an all-year fire season, the flora and fauna must be exceptionally hardy to have a place in the chaparral. The endemic Manzanita embodies what it takes to survive, hosting adaptations that serve it right into its final moments. Forest fires are a fact of life in the mountains. With an average 2.3 million acres burned every year in California, these blazes often spell the end for the Manzanita. While they can resist small flare-ups, the intense heat of a full-blown forest fire will kill the Manzanita. Once a fire has burned through its course, the dense wood of the tree remains as a skeleton, providing critical habitat and stability to the freshly burnt mountainsides. With the death of the old plants, the previously dormant seeds now have a chance of their own. Deposited directly and through animal scattering, Manzanita seeds can lay dormant for up to a decade before the heat of a fire activates them. Containing all the energy they need to start, the now active seeds begin their germination. These seedlings often appear right alongside the plants that came before them. The plants will continue growing for decades, with some taking 20 years to begin fruiting. Over the coming years, the Manzanita seedlings will steadily work towards recapturing their place in the chaparral landscape. Despite being a relatively slow-growing plant, these trees immediately start to show off their unique adaptations. Distinctive red and smooth bark helps the Manzanita be easily identified on the mountainside. This characteristic red comes principally from the concentration of tannins, which have both a rich color and bitter taste. It's expected that this taste and color act as a warning to small mammals and insects, attempting to persuade them not to eat the stalks of the Manzanita. The smoothness of the bark is also expected to act as an effective measure against pests such as beetles. At the start of summer, the bark peels away into small curls to allow the new growth of the tree. The thick, waxy leaves of the Manzanita may seem innocuous at first, but they also carry some special adaptations. The waxy surface helps to trap in moisture during the summer months, helping the tree survive throughout the droughts. This same waxy coating on the leaves is suspected to help act as a moisture trap during the winter and shoulder seasons, grabbing hold of the water in low-lying fog and dripping it down onto the soil below. During the winter, Manzanita provide a vital food source for local birds and insects. With its simple yet gorgeous flowers, the Manzanita ensures there'll be a healthy supply of pollinators due to being one of the only flowers available during the winter, being a particular favorite of hummingbirds. In late spring, Manzanita began to produce small berries from which they get their name. These little apples provide an important food source for the bears, foxes, birds, and other animals in the chaparral. Part of indigenous diets, these berries can be eaten as is, turned into cider, or ground and mixed with other foods. Some of these berries can be found still on the plant into the winter, but they're incredibly abundant throughout the summer. These adaptations all lead to an incredibly tough and gorgeous plant, almost as iconic as the California backcountry itself. Unfortunately today, Manzanita and the entire chaparral biome is facing a different environment than its adaptations have evolved for. Increased frequency and intensity of forest fires are having severe effects on the Manzanita seed banks. The increased pace of these human-caused fires are threatening the ability of the plant to produce seeds needed for the next generation. Despite these changes, improvements in outdoor education, firefighting techniques, and the simple hardiness of the Manzanita are all on the plant's side in the struggle to survive.